have a couple things to talk about, and then if you guys want to do like a Q&A, we can totally do that. It's just kind of how things go. So right now we're both in our senior year of college. Right now I'm in school to become a surgical technologist. So I'm at Cincinnati Children's right now doing my clinical rotation, and I love it. If you don't know what a surgical technologist, anything with instrumentation in the OR, that's kind of my job.
I'm currently at Good Samaritan College of Nursing for nursing, and I'm a senior, and I'm taking clinicals at Good Sam.
Okay, so we're going to go through the 4 tenets that I know you guys have learned a lot of throughout your guys' 4 years here. So leader, thinker, nurture, and prophet. We're going to do it in relation to COVID, but also, college and the COVID world that we're in right now, that I all know you guys have a lot of experience with in COVID. So being a leader, obviously right now we're kind of doing the blended, and so some classes we have in person, other classes are online, which you guys know is kind of interesting to do. So being a leader, what I put down is being in groups, because sometimes you don't get to know the people you're in a class with, you don't get to have relationships with them, so sometimes you kind of have to be the one to step up to say, hey, we got to get this done, or can we meet, can we do this different stuff? Yeah.
For leader, if you're struggling online, I would suggest meeting with other students or professors if you need any help, especially with online classes, you're not understanding something. It'll be easier for you to understand more when you get the help that you guys need.
Thinker, I think that, okay. With thinker, obviously you're in college to learn, that's kind of the main thing. But a lot of times in the COVID world and then further, what I put down is you kind of have to think about what you want to do in the future. So I think it's kind of difficult. I remember being a senior and not really knowing what at all I wanted to do in college, and then what I wanted to do for work. So I think it's important to think about what's your end goal? What do you want to do in college? And then along with that, what do you want to do after college? Where do you kind of see yourself? And right now it's really difficult to do that, but I think that just trying to process how you want your life to go, if that makes sense.
A good option for you guys, if you don't know what you really want to do in college yet, you can go undecided and take some classes on what you think you might like to take. I know me and Abby both did that our freshman year, and then we both knew we wanted to get into the nursing field, but we weren't sure what yet, so we both went undecided, and then I decided to transfer my sophomore year from Mount St. Joe to Good Sam.
Along with that, I was at the end of my freshman year, went in undecided, and it was at UC, it's called the exploratory program, so you kind of get introduced to the classes. So mine was healthcare, and as they called it, more biology. So I went into that and then was able to further explore, okay, I figured out what I want to do, and it's nice because I had a lot of the prerequisites done. So then I just went on from that. Nurturer, more so I said that when you're in a class with people, I find it super helpful to be able to meet with people, to talk about what you guys are learning, and I think it's a really good way to study. So I think it's nurturing those friendships, and also I'm in a program, and so everyone who's in my program now I graduate with, and I think it's really important to kind of make sure that everyone in your class is doing good, and then if they need help, you help them out, and if other way around. So I think it's really good to just kind of build each other up and just help each other.
So for profit in college, it's a little bit harder because there's people of all different religions and class So I know when I went to the Mount, they were supposed to be Catholic, but my freshman year they actually had different religion classes based on every individual, so you had to take a religion. But most of the colleges are really accepting of you being what religion you are, and they will help in any way possible to meet that basic need of your religion.
I think we also said, like she said, it's kind of difficult. You're in a different class, and here, like you're at a Catholic high school, but when you go off to college, everyone's kind of different. But there definitely are ways to go into different churches if you leave the one you're at now, or if volunteering. There's just a lot of different areas to go into. So that's basically it for what we have for the 4 attendance. Q&A, is that good?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any questions you have about really anything about college? It's fine if it's random. Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
I honestly like just meeting everybody. I liked how you are in classes that either are related to your program, other ones are completely not. So I really enjoy just figuring out what other people are majoring in, making friendships, just that's what I like.
My favorite part is probably getting to know everyone, especially like in your set goal and desire, like your program. So like I know a lot of the nursing students, we all like study together and hang out to get classwork done. That's a good question. Anyone else?
How was it for your guys' transition from Ursula?
It was a bit difficult just because here, like you guys become sisters. Like when you're walking down the hallway, you know who you see for the most part. So I think that was hard about it, but and like you have different teachers. I remember I was super surprised how like when you have a teacher, they're assigned to a certain classroom, and they're always in that classroom. At college, a lot of times you're in a classroom and you have like 300 people and just depending on the college you go to. And the teachers kind of just move around. So I think that was kind of difficult.
For me, it was definitely getting my work organized by myself and to actually like sit down and tell myself I have to do this by this date. I feel like Ursula prepared us, but not as much as you really think. Like it could be a lot worse in college, especially in our programs for nursing and surgical techs. They give you lots of homework each week.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice for like law life?
So we both went on it.
We're both local,
So
so
that is the one question we can't really answer. I mean,
a lot of people that we know go to dorms, even if they live nearby, but a lot of people decide that they like it. I know some people their freshman year have decided to actually like move back home because it was too much, but other than
it's
that,
also different for everybody. And I think it depends on the dorm you're in. I know some dorms
how
that
far you
have
go.
rep, other dorms are like super nice, from the ones that I've been into. So, sorry, that's the one question we can't.
anyone else?
Yeah. I feel like the only other thing, I feel like we might have kind of scared you guys a little bit when it comes to the workload. I think the biggest thing is you're going to have
It's just studying mostly, but
I do think from some standpoint, I mean, you guys know homework load here is quite a bit. I think in some relations, you might get a little more in college. It really just depends on your major you're going to. I highly recommend just finding a place in your college. It can be, I know at UC there's a lot of like different nooks and crannies you can find. I recommend finding a couple of those places that you feel like you can get good work done. I know when you're in a college dorm and your roommate's there, it kind of be a little bit difficult to do that. So that's one of the biggest advices I have. It's just to like find a couple places that you feel like you get good work done. I guess the other thing is, I know okay, sorry, I forgot, like I won't be your guys' rep. I know you're probably getting the questions now, like, okay, like, what do you want to do for your major, what college do you want to go to, and I understand it is very stressful. It can be a lot, and you guys are going to get through it. I know it's going to be very difficult, and you have a lot of decisions of what you want to do. I mean, both of us, we went kind of an undecided exploratory, and even though I ended up going to school longer than I kind of need to, I wouldn't have traded that because the people that I met, and I enjoyed getting the prereqs done, so then when I came to my core classes, I mostly just focused on that, so.
I actually have a question.
Yeah.
Is there, this is kind of random, but is there like one experience or lesson that you learned from your time when you were here that you were like, oh, I felt prepared because I had that experience? Yeah?
This is kind of the most recent thing I've noticed is when it comes to writing essays. In college, you're not given that outline. It's not like you have to have
So many sentences,
so many
paragraphs.
sentences, so many. But after learning all that stuff, you just know it. So when you start to write an essay, you don't have to write it a certain way. But I feel like my papers, they have a flow to it, and I don't even really try to. And there are times when I read other people's essays to like edit or whatever, and I'm like, this is kind of a bit more messy than I'm kind of used to, because it's just different. I guess we just learn in different ways. So.
For me, it would definitely be editing of papers because my freshman year we had an editing class and a lot of people didn't really edit my papers. So when I edited theirs, I thought it was like a big mess. And then when they got it back, they actually all passed pretty well because I'm so used to like Ursula editing paperwork. And also time management would be a good one. You really got to organize like your dates, times that everything's due. Because for me, a lot of my paperwork's due at 8 a.m. the next morning. So you want to prioritize your paperwork before anything. Anyone else?
Okay, well, let's give them a round of applause.